What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today we're here with another DIY project, and this is another DIY deck box. Now this is how to make the Phatty. Last time we made a smaller one, but this is if you want to contain more cards. Maybe you're on the go, and you need to hold a couple decks, or a deck and some pieces or whatever. We'll show you how to do it right here. What you're going to need: some scissors, a pen, a ruler, a 1.75 liter juice carton, but make sure it has a spout that has a lid on it, and a glue gun or a stapler, possibly even some other kind of glue, as well as a sleeved card. In the first step, you're going to want to pop open the top of your juice container as well as clean it out. Next, you're going to want to make a line above your sleeved card. But what I've done is gone about half a centimeter higher because these do have a thicker base on the bottom. So your card will be a little bit higher up than what you'd think. It won't just be flat to the bottom. So do your line a little bit higher, make it straight and flat. And you want to make sure that that's on the opposite side of where the spout is as well, if I didn't mention that. And then you're going to put a line straight off that on both sides, so that there isn't one on the spout side, but one on every other. And then you're going to cut down from the top down to your line. Do this on both sides. Then you're going to want to bend your piece off there. Readjust our camera. Kind of bend that piece up and do a cut along the line you made. I might have to go a bit deeper here. Make a cut along that line as straight as possible. Finish it off from this side. And then you're going to bring that line down to each side. Once again, as straight as possible. I just kind of use a ruler off of the line we already have. And you're going to be left with this kind of cube at the bottom, as well as this flap at the top. Next, you're going to bring the flap up and bend this down, and this is going to be the roof of your box. Now what you're going to want to do, make sure that's lined up as well as possible, and then put a fold on this part. Then bring it up, make sure it's straight, and take your pen. Pop the lid off there, and you're going to make a circle to the size of this lid, or the size of the spout, I guess. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, we just get a good marker there for it. And as well, you're going to cut up the sides here. I like to get that marker and then do the side cuts. Bring that all the way to the bottom. Now it's starting to come together, and basically what you're going to do is pull this up and then get this hole so this fits through it. So we'll just poke through. I'll start with our pen here. Poke a hole in the middle. And then I'll usually just kind of cut some edges out. Like I said, it doesn't have to be too perfect, as long as you get the spout through the hole. So I'll just kind of lightly follow the line and then make some adjustments after. Sorry if the angle's not the best for this. We have a starting circle there. We can kind of clean it up on this side. And we'll see how close we are there. Pretty close. Could be a little wider here. And if it's a little bit bigger, it's not too big of a deal as long as some part of it is still under the lid. But you want it to be as close as possible. So we can fit the lid through there. And that's going to be most of your box there. You can always kind of work that hole as you please. Next, we're going to come over to here. And I recommend cutting off these edges just to this line right here and to those lines. I'll show you what I mean. Now you can cut the middle edge off as well, but I find it's fine if it stays on there. It's not that big of a deal. These ones you can clean up though a little bit. And then next, we're going to cut down to this line. Essentially where our fold is for our lid. So if yours is a little off, make sure you go to where that fold is there. And then next, we're going to bring them up and glue them onto the middle part. So bring them up like that and then glue this there. So what I like to do is just apply hot glue on the edge here to where you know it's gonna be coming up, so about midway. So we'll take our glue gun, which we had heating up, and just apply pretty vigorously on the one side. Then we'll bring that up and make sure everything is square. Just kind of get all these edges flat as possible. And we'll hold that and let it cool for a moment. Kind of press it out. If some glue kind of leaks out into the inside, not that big of a deal. You can just kind of spread her out. And it won't really affect anything, but you could always kind of clean it up later if need be. And then we're basically going to do the same thing, but we can kind of overlap a bit. So we're going to take this edge. Might be easier if I kind of bring it up here. Apply that glue. Like I said, we can overlap just a bit here. And do the same thing. Make sure it's as square as possible. And apply that glue so it evens out. Might be a tad warm. And if you do have problems with it sticking, like I said, you could always use a staple gun, some other glue, or you could always kind of sand down the parts you're going to be gluing. There's a couple different ways. You could always tape it as well, I guess. This is probably the most aesthetically pleasing way to attach it all together. And there you go. You essentially have your deck box. You just kind of fold up there, and then you can close the lid. And you take your lid and twist her on there. Sometimes you might need to clean up the edges a bit just so it gets on fully. You can clean up some of this excess. But essentially, once you have it cleaned up good enough, the lid will stay on there. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to get on with these bigger ones. But it'll stay on there. And same thing, you could, with the original, you could sometimes fit a dice in there, or maybe a small coin for, coin flips. But overall, the design works pretty well. Like I said, it's pretty cheap, pretty easy to make. That only took us about 10 minutes. And like I said, I was explaining, kind of going slow so you see what the process is. But you could probably get 2 decks in here, maybe even more, sleeved up. And it's a pretty cool little way to carry them. You can design them up, paint it up, you know, cover it in tape or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to make it more aesthetically pleasing. If you need to, you can always add some like Mod Podge on some weaker areas if you're concerned about it. Like if the lid area, if you get it good, and maybe it's a little too close to the top there, you can always Mod Podge or use some glue to kind of fix that up, tape, whatever. But that essentially is the deck box. Let me know how you like it. Let me know if there's any improvements that you think I could make or anything you could do. I think you think I could do a little different. You could always kind of trim up some of these corners. They're not too essential. Kind of make designs on there. Clean up, like you can make this a bit more of a flap, a circular flap if you want to. There's a lot of edges you can trim down. But overall, it's a pretty nice deck box. It works well. Like I said, you can design them up or just kind of keep them when, you know, your favorite drinks or whatever. But it looks pretty good. So if you like that, you know, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure to check out the other one I did with the smaller cartons, you know, smaller milk cartons or juice cartons. And, you know, make sure to check out my other videos. I do deck profiles, you know, pack openings, other DIY videos. Recently we did, you know, like the dice tower, how to make shatterfoil cards, stuff like that. And I definitely do plan to do more in the future. So like I said, make sure to hit that little notification bell so you're notified when content's coming out. And other than that, thanks for watching. Peace.